Hello, I'm Janet Neal of The Superbwoman. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Superbwoman Sundays at 7. My guest tonight, Consolee Nishimwe, is an amazing woman. She is truly a superb woman. And, I started The Superbwoman with the belief that women are powerful beings, that many times they don't realize it or they give away their power. Well, Consolee is an example of a woman who is truly powerful. She's a person who everything, literally everything, was stripped away from her. And yet what remained was this beauty, this power, this amazing spirit. It's an amazing story. She is an author, she's a speaker, she's an activist, she is a proponent of helping women who have experienced some horrific things in life. And she is just a wonderful, shining star. So we'll get to her in just a second. But I want to tell you a little bit about how we met, because my hope is that through this show, people will be encouraged, motivated by the speakers, of course, because their stories are incredible, but that they'll be encouraged to go out there and put yourself out there and have a conversation with somebody, because you never know what their story is. So here's my story with Consolee, how I met her. She and I both attended a workshop on work-life balance, and it was a wonderful workshop. And Genevieve Pitturo, who was my guest last week, if you haven't seen her, about the pajama program, wonderful woman. I had met her at this, and so I'd had a long day, great conversations with people, just wanted to kind of leave. So I was trying to kind of sneak out the back, and there was Consolee and her friend Jacqueline. And they just were so welcoming and so friendly, and so I stopped to talk with them. And little did I know what amazing women these are. And I'm so grateful that I did stop, and so grateful that I'm able to bring her story to you today. So let me just show you. Consolee wrote a book, and if I could find it here on my iPad, hold on one second. It's called, oh, you know what? It's called Tested to the Limits. I can't even show it to you because it will take too long. But anyways, Tested to the Limits. And I read it in like 2 hours last night because it is riveting. It is unbelievable, actually. But let me just read you the last paragraph, because it really summed up for me my experience with her, and really kind of what the whole book is about. And it says, "My lesson to all is that no matter what horrible circumstances we may face in our lives, we must never lose hope. For losing hope is the beginning of our own self-defeat." And this indeed is a powerful, superb woman who has not lost hope, who has not been defeated, and has brought her story to all of us so that we can make sure this never happens again in our lives, and also to learn from her about how to still have hope amidst everything horrible that's going on, and to truly find that power within, to be yourself, to find your essence and to put it out there. And so, Consolee, thank you so much for being my guest tonight.
Oh, thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you for your kind introduction. It's my honor to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So your story is harrowing and horrifying, and like I said, it really, the fact that you are here today is the story of hope. So tell us a little bit about your story, if you would.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much again for having me. It's an honor for me to be here on Sunday. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'll give you a brief of my story. As you've read, my story is a long story, so and some of the part of the story are not easy to recall, but even though I did it, but I feel somehow relieved, and there's a therapy happened to me. I feel like it was therapeutic for me to have been able to go back in the memories of things that I thought I would never go back again. So I grew up in Rwanda, in the small town. I was not born in Kigali, in the capital of Rwanda. And for those who have heard what happened in 1994, so they know the history of how it started, even early centuries, how it started. So we had ethnic groups, Hutus and Tutsis. And because of what happened in those early years, the Tutsis have been mistreated over the years. And then I happened to be among the Tutsis, and in 1994, they planned a genocide against the Tutsis. And I remember at that time I was 14 years old, living with my both parents, happy child, going to school, coming back home, and going to my grandparents, and my aunts, and it was a happy, normal life until everything stopped in 1994. So for me, it was very tragic. I was not expecting anything like that to happen. And I found myself, like many others, Tutsis in many parts of the country, going and hiding. And in my area, where we lived, both my paternal grandparents, most of our family members lived not far from each other, but mostly my paternal grandparents lived by. And I remember, the first time we went in hiding, we had to go, places we didn't know where to go, following the crowd that was going to the stadium at that time. Everybody thought, they would find places to hide. But that was not the case, because throughout the country, on the radio, actually, they were telling the Hutus, the extremist government at that time was calling the Hutus to kill their own neighbors, Tutsis. And it was very hard for me as a kid to hear, some people are choosing to kill the others, simply who they are. And I remember the first place we went in hiding, these were, good friends of my family. And when we were there, while they took us in the ceiling, I remember hearing outside and, people saying we are going to exterminate them, from old to young. And before we actually went there, I have an image of seeing, women carrying their kids, old women, old men, everyone, on the street and going. And it was very hard for me to watch the image of people who are, going to be killed. And these women were supposed to be at home and taking care of their household, and these men and all the women who were supposed to be home and being taken care of, and all of a sudden they have to find themselves in that kind of situation. Those images never went away. I remember, sometimes we never thought who would be kind, because people have been taught to hate the Tutsis, simply who they are. And these are the people, most of the people who are, our country is a very small country, like a state of Maryland. So everybody knows each other, and neighbors, you share everything, everyone knows each other. And when you go to someone to help you hide you, who is a Hutu, you thought this person will be kind to you. And sometimes we never thought how people have changed. And I remember some places we went, me and my parents, and these people happened to be a very good friend of my family. They kept us for a little while, and I remember when they chose not to keep us in longer. But there were so many other things happen. And when the first time I realized that everything is going to change, our lives is going to completely change, is when during the night we're hiding in the bushes and the forest and laying down on the ground, and when we used to have a home, and all of a sudden we have to be in that kind of situation. Early in the morning, when we were in the sorghum plantation, I remember the killers, because they were all over the place. Throughout the place, people were having machetes. They had all sort of, material, household things, and clubs and machetes. Most of the things were machetes and clubs, and they were all over the place, and killing. And I remember when they approached where we're hiding in the sorghum plantation, they started saying, wherever you are, show yourselves before we kill you so badly. And I won't even forget the fear I had in my body, and all of my siblings, all of us, sitting where we were. My father, I'll never forget, you know, for me to see my father in that kind of situation was hard as a kid. And my aunt, and all of a sudden, but my mom was a very strong woman somehow. I don't know. She had this strong spirit, and she said, keep praying in your heart. And we kept praying, we kept praying. That's the only thing we could do. So, and when we came out, my aunt was killed immediately because she was running in different direction. But you know, the woman who stayed with us, because she actually was a Hutu, she used to stay in our home and she was a help in our household. But somehow she didn't want to go to her home. She said, you've been kind to me all the years and I will never leave you. And she kept, you know, she stayed with us. And I feel at that time she had to run too. So when they approached and these killers approached the bushes, and I remember, I will never forget how these people looked in their face and terrifying, and how, but at that time they killed my aunt, and we didn't, you know, they were killing other people and everywhere, and we had to figure out other places to go to hide. Throughout the whole time we met people, we didn't know how completely changed. And I remember this place we were hiding for the first time. It was very, very difficult to hear people being happy what they have done, and all of a sudden I heard them saying my dad was killed, and they killed my dad among the many people. So for those who are going to read the book, they will see details of what happened at that time. And it was very difficult. As a, you know, I was the oldest in my family, and it was very hard for me. My dad was a very close friend to me, and the dad, and so it was hard for me to hear that. And throughout the 3 months, we kept hiding in places where sometimes you will see someone who is kind, sometimes you will see someone who is not. So there were so many instances where people have done so many bad things to us, and in many ways. And as you've heard it throughout the conflict area zones, you know, women and girls are being targeted, and they are the most, you know, tortured horrifyingly. So, and it happened in Rwanda. Rape was used as a weapon during the genocide. And so many women around the country, before they were killed, they were being tortured, and some of them were not even killed. They kept being torturing them, raping them. So, and before actually, you know, I go to that part, we were hiding in some places, and unfortunately, my brothers were killed after. Also, my 3 younger brothers, who were from age 9, 8, and 16 months old. It was the most horrifying thing, and we didn't know how we were going to keep, you know, surviving, and we were thinking who would be next. So going back to the part of how women were being tortured, I was also part of, you know, that happened to me as a young girl. So, and the person who did it was someone that I've seen in my neighborhood growing up, and it was the hardest thing for me. And I didn't even know how I would be able to function again, and, you know, being raped, brutally raped, and tortured in a way. So it was very hard for me to feel like life, I'll keep living and I will want to live. So, but sometimes when you survive, things keep happening. So we're lucky, somehow myself, my mom, and my sister, someone in the Muslim community, they hid us until, you know, the country was liberated, and there was so many other, you know, great people who have helped. And it was very hard, even though we survived. It was very hard for us. We were painful. It was the only thing that helped us is prayer, just to hold on to prayer. That's the only thing that kept us strong. For me, as a 14 years old, as you can imagine, you know, being raped, and then you have to figure out how to be strong mentally, psychologically. It was not very easy at all. And right after the genocide, there were so many women like myself, and who some of them who even live with physical, wounds because of what happened to them. Even men also, but mostly women. Some of them were impregnated during that time, and they have to have children from the rapists, and some of them live with HIV as a result of that. So for me, looking around, and most of them have lost the entire families, but at least for me, I have a mom I can go to and cry to, and she knew we've been through everything together. I was very fortunate because not everybody was fortunate like me. So, and another time I kept praying to me. I kept telling myself to never give up. I'm fortunate to be alive, even though there are so many bad things happen to me, but I have to live for, strong for my mom and my sister, and also looking around me, the other survivors who are no longer being able to do anything for themselves. At least for me, I can walk, I can, I can at least, physically walk, but even though emotionally, psychologically, I'm damaged, but I have to find a way to be able to be strong. So within me, I had that voice keep telling me to never give up, keep having hope, keep praying, have faith. And my mom also helped me to see, as a woman who've lost young children, and being able to be strong and being able to want to do something and get up and just, it keep telling me to not hate those people who have murdered our people or even did what they did to me. It was very, it gave me the courage. It gave me the courage because looking at her, that gave me the courage to keep, working hard to stay strong. It was very difficult throughout the years, but I was able to find myself, later on, because of the rape, I found out that I was HIV positive, which was another thing that add up to the pain, but I had to keep reminding myself that I have to be strong. So I was so fortunate to find other survivors who are strong. So they've been so encouraging to me, and then I decided to be a voice for those who cannot speak for themselves. Being able to express what happened to me. Not everybody, even up to this time, will be able to express what happened to them. And I decided to do that and be a voice for many survivors, for many women, even encouraging other people who go through difficulties in lives, but somehow they feel life is not worth living. But I want to encourage them to be strong, and also to tell the world that these such horrible things are bad to the society, and they destroy our communities, and it should not happen to anywhere, especially to the women. Women are the most vulnerable people, and girls, and they are being attacked in so vicious way, and we needed to speak up so such horrible things should stop. So even now, in many other conflict zones, you see women are the most targeted. In DRC, South Sudan, in Central African Republic, even Iraq, as you've heard. So it's very hard for me to see such horror keep happening. So, and being a voice, and for them, and at least someone who will do something to stop these things. So hopefully, as we speak nowadays, like we speak like now, so someone can watch and see, maybe feel in the heart who is probably trying out there to do something horrible to stop it. Hopefully, in the heart they will feel that this is not good to do. So, and for me, I feel like my life now I'm very fortunate to be able to speak, and I'll keep doing that, and also encourage those who have been through so much, and speak for them that they can get some support, either spiritually, emotional, psychological help, because some of even physical, because some of them not strong enough, because they need help. Like, I've been helped, so I need others to be helped as well. So, and my life I have now, I feel like that's my service I can do to the world and others. Thank you.
That's so beautiful. You know, I just wanted to read another segment that really touched me. You're a 14-year-old girl, and this is the point that you get to, where you say, the more I prayed, however, the closer I got to the point of saying within my heart that evil was working within them, and I have to show God that I am not wishing them the same as they were doing to us. I mean, to get to that point, that that level of maturity, that level of spiritual growth, I mean, that's an otherworldly kind of thing. And I think that's what you just kind of mentioned also, to be able to get the word out there so that people will hear this and they will maybe think twice. They'll kind of see the error of their way, of their thinking, before they actually act. And so how else are you, I know you said that you're speaking for people who can't speak, but tell us, like, the kinds of speaking engagements you do, the kinds of work that you do.
Yeah, thank you. I do speak a lot in many schools, because I know, especially in schools, those are the many places where people, especially students, get educated for such things, and these are the people who are able to speak out too and do something about certain things like this, happening around the world. And also, I do attend a lot of events, events that was organized by many people about talking about sexual violence against women, and also violence against women as well. So to be able to talk about how women are the most targeted, in many areas. It's not necessary. It's not only in conflict zones. Women are, rape. It happens in many other places too. Even sometimes in a workplace, or it can happen in different circumstances. So we want to make sure that violence against women should stop in anywhere it happens. So I do also speak on genocide in many places, organization, or even museums organizing events. So where I make sure that my message go out there, and I reach out to many people, so to do something. So yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
That's excellent. And you and I were talking a little bit about this whole thing about ending violence against women. Whether it's in those horrific genocide situations, but really just like in America. In everyday kind of that rape culture that some people say. To get people to the awareness, to think differently, to value women. But you are a wonderful example of a woman who, dug down deep inside and found that your voice and found that power. And my definition of a superwoman, not only taking the time to understand yourself, but then stepping into that power and putting that positive energy out there for the betterment of all. So thank you for the work that you're doing along those lines.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, as you've mentioned, women are, sexual, as people know that from November 25th until December 10th, there's campaign, 16 days campaign to end violence, hashtag 16. For those who are on Twitter, they can see hashtag 16 days. They will see many events. People can, do a lot of different events in their communities, talking about ending violence against women. And there's also, they're using orange hood, hashtag orange hood, which is orange color. And I see you have orange color.
Yes, I have my orange on today.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, orange color, to make sure that to raise awareness, everybody can get involved in making sure that women are protected, because in many, as you know, that in many countries or in many other many communities, women rape, some people take rape as just like they take it as a normal thing, and they don't punish people who are doing such horrible crime, because it's a horrible crime. And it hurts me that sometimes women are the most blamed when it happened to them. They are the ones blamed to what happened to them, and this has to stop. For me, I feel like everybody, men also, should be part of this awareness, making sure that this should stop, and teaching young men also how to treat women in the right manner. And it doesn't matter. I was listening to actually watching in the news some recently an incident happened in Kenya where women are stripped because they are wearing shorts, and then they actually ban them because they're saying they are wearing shorts. That's not a reason to, do something like that to another human being. These are human beings. Doesn't matter what a person is wearing, because everyone should wear whatever they want, but they should be treated right. So for me, it hurt me so bad to see, such horror. Thank God so many people have been talking about it on social media, and in the country they are telling everyone to, this should not happen, and they have to prosecute everybody who is doing such horrible things. So, and women are the most, beautiful human beings. They bring the human in the world. They should be treated right. For me, I think everyone can be part of awareness, making sure that these things should stop. And it happens in many parts of the world in many different ways. And for me, I think, being a voice and many of the people talk about it, especially that we have social media where we can keep, raising our voices in many ways. Now there are, technology where we can make sure that everybody can get a message. So for me, I feel that I will make sure that as part of my contribution, like many others, to make sure that this should stop. So that's what I do. Recently I attended an event in the Capitol Hill that was organized with UNAIDS and Together for Girls organization. Together for Girls, actually they do they do talk about violence against children and girls, and I was honored to be part of their team and be able to talk about this. And
did you get an award there as well?
No, I got an award in different places, but no, this time I was just speaking. Yeah, as one of the young women who experienced something like that, such horror, and who is a voice for so many others. So yeah, but I'm grateful that I can be able to talk and be a contribution to the community, to the society, because everybody, this is very important. Everybody should be part of it, because when these things keep happening, they destroy humans, lives. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. And I was sharing with my daughter some of your story, and the thing that I was saying that really got to me, and I was so happy to hear that you speak to school children, because the point when you were talking about being in third grade and having to stand up and kind of be shamed, publicly shamed, and these were, a minute ago these were your friends, and then all of a sudden they're calling you a cockroach that needs to be destroyed. And I could just so see, being that scared. I used to teach third grade, so I know third graders, and to be so confused, like, what is going on? Even though that happened to you there in Rwanda, I mean, it could happen anywhere, and I pray that it never does happen again. But I know it keeps going on around the world, and so for you to be able to put the word out there, to have this human face of here I was there, I lived through this, and to
Right.
truly be able to live through this
Mm.
is truly amazing. So I know, your mother, God
Mm.
bless her, she's what a woman. I mean, to be able to live through this herself, and being a mother, I cannot even imagine the horror of going through what she went through. Um, but I know she has helped you, and I know you have helped each other on the path. You tell a beautiful story of, helping her out of her depression. Um,
Yeah.
so so that's really nice. And then you mentioned other people. So tell us a couple of people who have really helped you and been instrumental in helping you on your path.
Yeah, there, beside my mom, because we've helped each other in so many ways, and of course, survivors, survivors are the most that I'm always around, is who have been, helpful. We help each other in so many ways. We've been through, things that some of them, it's good for us to be together and encourage each other. And also, I remember one person, because I'm more like, I like to be inspired spiritually. And I've been lucky to meet Dr. Wayne Dyer, one of the most inspiring author people know. And I've been able to know him personally, and he's been kind to talk to me because he knows my story. And he helped me out in a way that he gave me, um, something that stayed with me, kept reminding me that that life is worth living, and I'm so eternally grateful for him. And I also have been able to meet to read a book um, called A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson, and people know that is the most powerful book that has helped a lot of people around the world. And for me to be able to be touched by, I read it in the right moment, and
Mhm.
I wanted to be able to find something, to help me in my journey of healing. So I was still fragile, so I read it in a moment where I needed it. And very good friend, really, who came, who brought it for me, and she's still a very good friend of mine, and I'm eternally grateful. And there are so many others who have been really helpful for me, and I'm eternally grateful for them. So my cousins have been able to survive with me, and they've been helpful, and when so many people have lost everyone, it's good. And my doctors, my
Mhm.
doctor's been so kind to me, and she's still a very good friend for me. So, and everything she told me and telling me, I'm so grateful. Positive words and encouraging words. I'm grateful to have met such great people, and being able to come in this country. So, be able to meet all these people I mentioned. It's I'm grateful for this, because not everybody really are lucky or fortunate like how I am. That's why what everything I've received, I want to give it to others who are probably in the place where they don't necessarily see the encouraging words. So I
Mm.
want to be able to encourage them to be strong, and live a life. I remember speaking really helps me too with the people that I meet, especially the young people in schools. I remember one school in New Jersey, I forgot which school was, and I met this young girl after I finished speaking, because I had to speak to them, relating to them as a young person, what happened to me. And they were actually the same age as I was at that time. They were 15, 14, yeah. And a young girl, 14 years old, somehow she saw me when I was about to leave. She kept following me, and she said, "I need to talk to you." And I could see she was shaking and unhappy with something. And then I hugged her. So I said, come to me, come talk to me. And she had to relate to me her sexual violence. And she was, she endured. And I had to, I'm thankful that she was able to tell me, because it was the first time that she spoke about it. She said, "You're the first person I'm able to tell what happened to me, and find a way to help her so she can get the help and support she needs." Yeah, and that kept encouraging me. At least if someone can get help through my story, I will keep doing this. Yeah.
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 Well, I just want to thank you so much for being my guest tonight. Let me just show people your book. Can you see that all right? Tested to the Limit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. It's a great book.
Here too. Here.
It's a heavy book. Oh yeah, you've got it. There you go. Excellent.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. So, thanks so much again for being my guest. And for those of you watching on YouTube, there'll be a slide coming up for more information with the hashtags. And what is 16 days? Is that the hashtag?
Hashtag 16 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you will see what's happening and the events, and people can organize in their communities something about talking about sexual violence, or violence against women in general. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. All right. So we'll get that out there. And wear orange.
Yeah, Orange Hood. Yeah, and another hashtag is Orange Hood. So that means you can have orange in whatever you like to have orange. Yeah, whether in your office or some other place. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, Consolee, thank you so much for being my guest, for being just a marvelous example of a superb woman.
Thank you so much. It was an honor for me to be here. My pleasure.
Thank you. And so join us next week. My guest next week will be Carrie Davidson, who is the founder of the Turnesol Wellness Center in New York City, and yet another amazing, superb woman with, just another incredible story. So have just a most fabulous week, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.